Okay, so that's a good EQ. So I'm going to put you up far. John, you're yet to be rated, so.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. do you know what EQ is?
Equilibrium.
Good guess. Very good guess. How about you? Jason.
I actually would have thought it was equilibrium too.
Like that equal plane.
Okay, I'm going to give you a hint. What does IQ stand for?
Intelligent quotient. Emotional quotient?
Ding, ding, ding. Wait.
It was an E. Oh, look.
Where'd it go?
Look at the positive reinforcement we're getting on this one, folks.
Yay!
I assume you've been going.
Oh, I have been.
Okay. Amber, do you feel ready?
Yes.
Yeah?
Thank you for humoring me on that one. That just brings me into where I'm supposed to be right now, and I'm good.
Perfect. Well, that's what we were hoping for. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little Pavlovian. Hearing the bell after I do something good, great. I'm not proud. I'll take the little wins. Dopamine comes as dopamine comes.
You've done your research, or you just really took some good classes in high school and college.
I would say a little both. My friend, after you.
No. You're doing this one.
Oh, I thought because you wrote this.
I didn't write it. I just put it together.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, welcome everybody once again to the I Shower After Work podcast. As you hear, we do have another guest with us this week we're pretty excited about. So today we've got Amber Marie with us. She's hanging out. Amber is a licensed professional counselor who helps clients deal with the stuff nobody wants to warn you about: big life changes, burnout, anxiety. She works with her clients navigating not only perimenopause, menopause, IVF, grief, career changes, even just the feeling that why do I feel off, but I can't quite explain it. She has a style that's very grounded with little judgment, none of this therapy buzzword stuff that can turn people off really quick, and just some tools to actually help people get back in tune with themselves. So let's grab a drink and get into it. Amber, welcome.
Thank you.
We're so glad to have you here. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Normally, John would have talked back and forth about what we did this week. It's our usual stick, but they already heard Amber talking with us here. I think we just jump right into it. What do you think?
Yeah. There's no need to muddy it up with what we did this week.
I like it. So first and foremost, Amber, tell us a little bit about what you're comfortable in sharing. Tell us about your family, where you grew up.
So local. I am in the metro area here. I'm going to give some landmarks because I heard some of your clients like to...
Especially the high school you went to, for some reason, seems like a big thing in the Midwest.
Sure. But I'm just going to share lots of folks that live in this area right here where you live.
Great.
Come from the area that I grew up. So a shout out to my East Siders. They somehow made their way south to Cottage Grove, to Woodbury, to Newport. There's a lot of them out here. So that's why I started out. I was a rockin' East Side and moved to Woodbury. Quite the cultural switch there.
Yeah, for the non-locals, those are distinctly different type of towns. Yeah, chill to uppity in a real quick distance.
Yes. But the big draw to Woodbury back then, you guys know what that is?
No.
Would have been, how far back are we talking? See if I've learned anything.
80s.
Roller skate park? I'm killing it today, folks. I'm telling you.
Does anyone remember the name of that roller play park?
You give me a few minutes while we move on. I will come up with it. It's definitely going to dawn on me. I've heard it said a million times, so it's in there somewhere.
Yeah. So I moved to Woodbury, but to continue that vibe after the gold rush.
Yep, I'm familiar
with that. That became the roller rink after, when you kind of were in high school and you want to pretend like you were an adult. Go out dancing.
Yes.
Funny.
For everybody who wasn't alive in the 80s, the roller rink was the club for younger people for a long time. Music and moving around with each other and pizza and drinks.
Oh, that's what we always did. I wasn't in the area, but it was still big back home too.
Where's back home?
Black Hills. South Dakota, Wyoming. I grew up in Wyoming.
Did you break dance out there also?
Dude, we were punks. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We were like 5 years behind the curve. But,
that's all right.
Still had fun.
Still got those parachute pants out and cut up some cardboard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I might not be able to unsee you breakdancing.
Yeah.
Did they in Canada breakdance?
I'm sure there was people who were breakdancing. I'm happy to say I was never fit enough in my youth to try something of the sort, so I never embarrassed myself. I will say a great friend of mine was on a vacation with us in what I want to say was the Dominican or Cuba. I don't remember which, who used to breakdance in his youth and had since become older and broader. Shout out my buddy Bill. Tried to jump into a group of locals who were trying to breakdance with the worm where you jump in head. I tell the story as if it was like a 747 was going to crash into the ground. People like reeled back, went, ooh, like a movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't good, but alcohol was involved. So what are you going to do? I don't think he ever tried again.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Canadians break dance not on cardboard, but on ice. So it kind of goes that way.
There is a bit of that going on. And I know you've got lovely kids, all of them.
I do have lovely kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 3 in 1? 3 girls and a boy?
Very good. Yes. Yep. All adults.
In my defense, your young adult kids, for the odd time I see them all in the same room, they have similar looks, so I have a little trouble sometimes remembering which was which, except for your boy. That one's easy.
Yes. Yes. They all are very distinct and beautiful and smart and caring, loving adults. I say if you put money and value on anything, it's the citizens that you produce in the world, and they are 4 fine citizens.
Yeah, all going places, no problems. I mean, and like side note, all great genetics, all nice looking kids. Like,
Yeah.
Some of
Very
them could have
nice.
fallen into that trap of, well, I look good and I come from a good place, so everybody will give me. No, all the kids are just like genuinely nice kids.
Oh, super hard workers.
Yeah.
Like every one of them had a job early on. So, just going back to, I think that was instilled not only in me, but, our family valued you work hard and then you play hard, right? And
Right.
so I think finding your niche in life, you have to experience things that, like working at a holiday gas station store. All 3 of my kids did that. There must have been something good about it.
Yep.
You
2 of mine
gotta
did
learn
it.
some hard, sucky job lessons. You really have to.
Yep.
Like, I got no kids, but it made a lot of big changes in me looking back on, well, at least I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
Like, that was worth the effort of school, education, whatever, to get out of that.
My youngest is still at a gas station.
Right. And learning the lessons, I'm sure.
Right. But at least he's working.
She does. Yeah. She works a lot, actually,
Yeah.
more than what she had planned to.
Yeah.
There's a pile of people out there not trying at all. So
Yep.
you got all 3 of the girls doing something. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I want to strangle them half the time, but yeah, they're good kids.
I always have to lean on the people with kids because I have no frame of reference.
Except for that dog that jumps all over. And
Yes, she is getting better. I know when my brother listens to this, he'll laugh. She's not going to be jumping the next time you see her, Greg. I mark my words, buddy.
Greg, you let me know. 'Cause-
Yes, I'm committed to a well-trained dog, and she's a pretty great dog. But I've made the joke recently. I don't compare it to being a parent, although lots of people make the comparison. But if you drill right down, you take care of them, you take them in, you look after them, you feed them, you worry about their health, you care about their I mean, there's some real parallels. It's not the same, but there's some real parallels.
Yeah, the difference is they don't have thumbs.
Or the ability to ever learn how to talk back, I notice is a big one.
Yeah, but they do things that are just like that, like eat shoes and just decide they're, going to mark their territory. And you're like, really? Like they didn't know where to go with that?
There is some of that, yes. Yeah, they can throw you attitude, they just can't verbalize it.
Right.
Which somehow for me seems like it'd be easier than a kid who eventually comes up and goes, I hate you, or whatever.
My
Yes.
corgi side eyes you. He'll lay on the couch and just give you the side eye like, yeah, you piece of shit.
They're able to judge, that's for sure.
Corgi's got that, like, British arrogance thing in them.
A bit. A lot of it.
I never thought about it, that's right. Because,
Totally.
yeah, they nose up in the air, standing proud, even though they're about that far off the ground.
Oh, no.
Yeah, even though he's dragging his transmission.
Right. And the biggest thing is when they walk, they waddle. Can I say ass? Their ass literally looks like they're just like shaking it.
That
Yeah,
little
they do.
That's one of the
And they
big
don't-
traits.
They don't like other dogs.
You're right. I can't
They
defend them.
tolerate them.
Yeah.
That's it.
If they do really well with calm dogs, they generally, because they can't defend themselves. They know they can't defend themselves.
So an old dog that just has no more life in it.
Yeah, they just don't. The ones that don't give a damn, that's their people.
Yeah, I have a 5th child, and that would be my dog, and prevents me from going on vacation sometimes. But the other kids, their siblings, watch her every once in a while.
There you go.
And as one family dog owner to another, keep us in the loop. Let's just get them to know each other, because we can always help out. We like favor trades.
Oh my gosh.
We got to put them in the same backyard sometime.
Love that about you. I
We-
love that about you.
We tried that with Ripley and Remy.
Ripley was a little too young, and Remy was just a hair too old.
Yeah.
Not interested in that
Just
energy
like-
level.
Get away from me.
And we gave them a fair shake.
Yeah.
They tried for quite a while on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So gives us a little bit about your background, but before you got into counseling, you were an educator for a while before that. Tell us a little bit about your experience as an educator, and then what prompted the change to what you're doing now. Take your time.
So, yeah, I was that kid that loved school. So, why not get a job being in school forever? I would, the funny thing is my first student was my brother. That poor kid would have to sit next to my dolls and in the cedar room in the basement here, and I'd have an easel, and poor kid, would be doing work. I would be teaching him things. I don't even know what that was, but something. And then we would go have lunch. Go upstairs, we'd have lunch, go outside for recess, come back in.
Wow, you were committed early.
Lord.
Seriously, sometimes there was a nap time in there, but I loved it. That was like my jam. So I knew early on that was something that came really easy for me. And the funny thing is my kids used to do that at my mom's house too. There was these intercoms, and they would have the whole table set up downstairs with desks and everything. And then the intercom would come on, and it'd be like, time is lunch. And the person upstairs would have lunch. They would go upstairs.
That's funny.
We created people that loved education.
I like it. If you're going to play the game, play it all the way.
Well, because my nephew, he went into education.
Yep.
He too went to school to be a teacher. My daughter went to school to be a doctor, but had to do 2 years in AmeriCorps, and she was a teacher. That was a learning experience. Someone that has no background in education now has a 6th grade class and has to create the curriculum.
Wow.
She did good.
It can't
Survival
be easy.
of the fittest. Yeah. And so my kids, they continue in school. Some of them are still in school. So anyways, back to, that's kind of, I think, what I fed to my kids growing up was education. Because then I was a paraprofessional. I was a coach. I was a preschool teacher. I was a tutor. Then I became a 7th grade geography teacher, which loved that class.
All right. Side note here. What level of geographical knowledge would a kid need to graduate the 7th grade geography class?
Oh my gosh. I loved it. And if there's any former 7th grade students out there that had me at South St. Paul school, I made it fun. When we studied like Asia and the Himalayan mountains in India, Nepal, Bhutan, all of that, we went rock climbing. And I had like a professional rock climber come in and talk about what that means. And then we watched that Mount Everest movie. And then we went rock climbing. And it was like geographical and culture at the same time.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So that's why I had a lot of fun doing it, because I was able to make it my own. And then had a couple kids and became a psychology teacher and a sociology teacher, which the funny part is those 7th graders became like my juniors and seniors. So I felt like I knew them grow up, I loved it. And then I had another kid stayed home because she was premature and needed a lot more help and support. And but did things on the side. I went back to school to get a driver education degree.
Right. So
in the evening, I would go teach driver ed, and I did very little behind the wheel because I was a little nervous about that. But that was my part-time job while I was home with the kids for 3. And then I had a 4th and went back to school to be a school counselor. and did tutoring. In between there, I became the high school teacher that when someone in high school had to stay home for, I had a kid that had a heart surgery. I had another one that got rolled over in his truck and needed to be cared for. I was the tutor that would go. And then I had some that had a lot of, struggles, emotional regulation. And that's when I kind of knew, I got to work with people because it's relationships. And if they trust you, they're going to get through it just based upon how you encourage them. And it's not all the mental illness that we talk about. It's just really reconnecting with yourself. And so that led to 2010, when I said, okay, all my kids are in school. I'm going to go back to work and got my first school counseling job in St. Paul, where I grew up. Kind of the same shit came right back in my face. Like, whoa, okay, this is what being outside of your CEO mother of 4
Right.
in the suburbs. I was like, okay, just put on my boots and my gloves and away I went.
Sometimes making a change, especially back to what you were doing, if you hadn't been doing it for a while, is jarring.
It was. And it was,
Sure.
it was all kinds of emotions, right? There was just, you guys, you have kids,
Mm-hmm.
you have a wife who likes to spend time with you.
Very much.
I didn't do a lot of that once I went back to school. It was pretty intense. You have a master's degree, you're expected to do a lot. And it wasn't like I was going in and, helping kids. I was monitoring attendance. I was writing 504s. I was going in the classroom and teaching lessons and calling, child protection. And it was a lot. And I would go home to, what seemed like, Beaver Cleaverland. Everything was so good at my house. I had this weird, okay, what world am I living in? So that's when mental illness regulation things hit me. And I was like, whoa, people really go through a lot of stuff when they're transitioning in their life, on top of hormones.
Right.
Yeah. So as we go today, it's going to be a number of things we want to sort of lean on you about. I mean, the fact that people go through lots of changes and how it affects them, what your recommendations are to look at that, but also the people like, say, John and I are what's very common in construction, where people will not take care of their physical health, especially, and mental is probably way further down that list with emotional and whatnot. Anything that you think of as we go here that are positive steps for people to even consider it? Because the reason we want John, I know you personally, and I figured you could help us normalize a little bit of this.
Mm-hmm.
We've tried with some other things before. We're open to a lot. We all work for a living.
Right.
It doesn't hurt to try to think of another way to deal.
Yep. Well, another healthy way to deal.
Right. Yeah.
Because let's face it, construction workers, we have a bad habit of being alcoholics or,
Yes.
having some other vices that not so good. Not so
Right.
good for us.
That would be a coping tool.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And our media reinforces that, right? The high life, the good times, the beer refreshing, whatever it might be, we're kind of sold that makes you feel good when you're not feeling good.
Right. Right. And I think a lot of people out there, they don't realize, or they get into that because, yes, the vices that we take will numb what we're dealing with temporarily. So then it's a repetitive thing, right? Like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to keep drinking.
And they call that what?
Well, I mean, it's a terrible habit, that's for sure.
But what is the label that people then get called?
Alcoholics.
Yeah. An addiction, right?
Yeah. An addiction.
And then all of a sudden that becomes something and it's a label. And so I guess, and I just want to say, I really appreciate being on here because destigmatizing the word mental health, right? Taboo, no. It's just how our chemicals change and are wired in not only our brain, but in our body, right? And so we're going to put labels on. I have to be honest and open with you and the listeners. Like, we all go through changes and we bring this bag, and I have 2 of them here, full of shit with us all the time. from childhood to being bullied in middle school to having your heart broken to being poor to getting rich to being away from home. Like all of those things, every single thing that happens in our life, I don't know, we want to hold on to, right? And if you hold on to it and you see the joy in the journey, you know, you'll be okay, right? Maybe. If you hold on to it as a rock, piece of coal, something shitty, and you just keep collecting the shit and holding on to it, you're going to find a vice.
Right.
Well, and I had somebody point out to me when I was doing some research for our sit down today that there's the thing that's in your face that's emotionally bothering you, and then the thing that you brought with you. You recognize the one in front of you all the time, but you might not even know that the dog biting you when you were 13 did all this. I don't understand the mental emotional mechanism that makes it trauma, but I understand that it's really frustrating if you have no idea what it is.
Right. Yeah. And so when you may see something that says it's trauma informed, what that means is as you are either talk therapy or narrative writing or whatever you might be doing to kind of process things, the person that you're working with is helping to inform you how that is in your daily life, how it's presented, right? It doesn't come back as a memory so much, like you're saying. It's like this unconscious, subconscious, piece. And if I may say so frankly, men have been taught to shove things down and not talk about them, but they carry them. And so if they did have something to say, or if they are going through something, they've been taught not to talk about it. And who do you talk to?
No, you don't do that. You leave that alone. that shit bottles up.
That's tomorrow's cancer's problem.
Right.
Just bottle all that up.
Right.
So,
and then have a shot to numb it and go on with your day.
right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Bite your tongue.
Yeah.
Right? Because you live in a little bubble, right? You plastic wrap, you don't see anything, you don't do anything. No, we are out in the world and we see and we do things every single day. And
Let's be honest, all right? Most guys are still suck it up.
Oh, absolutely.
And you not only would your own brain tell you that, but you'll hear that from friends.
Yep.
Family sometimes.
Yep.
Suck it up.
Yep. You got to get over that.
your own wife, your sister.
Maybe.
So then females start telling you that too. And so then you don't trust females.
Yep.
Someone looking at my health, unhappiness, that would make me not trust them.
Right.
But I can see how some people would feel that way.
Right. And again, and I throw that out there because both of you been in relationships. And you've had some that have bared beautiful children as myself, right? And your best intentions is to be with that person, love them, care for them for the rest of your life, right? That's what we're taught. That's the social norm. In every relationship that you have, your sisters, your mom, your friends, your coworkers, literally, if we kind of just switch the script a little bit and just looked at them for all of their good qualities, didn't judge them for their bad qualities, and said, no matter what, we can talk about it. And that was taught to us very early on. We may not be stuck where we are.
No.
So from your professional perspective, what do you do? Because we know that's the way it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do with a whole group of people? Like, say, we're just generalizing here to say blue-collar construction worker, to get them to not think the way they have been taught to thought and have their whole adult life. Like, what can you actually do?
Well, the reason why I got into the profession, like I loved teaching, I loved helping people. And then as a school counselor, I eventually went into therapy, right? And I said, oh, okay, I can do this individually. I feel like it can make a bigger impact because I'm working with adults. With children, you're trying to help, you're giving them social skills, you're supporting them, affirming. But adults are the ones that need to make the change, right? And so it was like, can I get connected with adults and help them see the bigger picture and just tweak things along their way? So then it's the self-examining piece. And when I say that, what do you as gentlemen think of self-examining yourself?
Oh, looking in the mirror.
Ooh, okay.
Inter-projection.
Very good. Jason?
That sums up for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just, being reflective of what you actually think, like not lying to yourself. Like being able to look at yourself and or recognize that you're lying to yourself, I suppose, is sometimes handy too. Like,
Right.
Yeah, not just telling yourself it's all the truth. Like going, is that really? Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you look in the mirror and you don't like yourself, what do you do about it?
Have another shot of whiskey and suck it the fuck up.
Cheers to that, right? You're not lying about that, right?
I can't take credit for the comment. It's a famous comedian, but when he had made some changes in his life, it was his physical fitness. And then, I mean, I can say it's Tom Segura. He's not going to sue me or anything. And then someone asked him like, oh, like, how did you finally get up the will to do that and make a change? He's like, do you look at yourself in the mirror every morning and say, I hate you? The person goes, no. He's like, well, then you're not ready. Now, I don't think you should let it get to that point. But again, from like stupid male construction worker perspective, not even just male, that's the way it goes. Like, I don't need to change yet. It's not at rock bottom.
Mm-hmm. Right. But is the narrative in the back of your brain, you know, the little good devil angel on your shoulder saying, you're not good enough.
Always.
You're going to fail at this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Just to be clear, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but this legitimately would be the kind of pushback I would expect you to get if you sat down with someone in our general friend group. if they thought somebody thought they needed help, naturally sat down with you. Now, I would assume anyone who took the time in whatever demographic would at least be to the point where they know they need to make some changes, have now come to a professional and
right. And what has to happen? This is the sad part. What has to happen for that to happen? Somebody looking at themselves in the mirror and says, you know what? I really need to go talk about this. I need to go get help. What has to happen?
Or a traumatic event.
What kind of traumatic event? Like, what would have to happen to you, John?
I can tell you what happened to me.
Okay.
Like, divorce.
What happened before the divorce?
The 2 affairs.
Okay. and why would you turn to somebody else? Or why would she turn to somebody else?
Oh, she was unhappy with me.
Oh, okay. So what was making her unhappy? I mean, these are the backward steps when you're in therapy to like examine that.
Okay, so you bring up a good point. I'm happy you went down that road. So, because I wanted to talk to you about this. And the fucking chamber's loaded now. So, okay. On first affair, now I didn't have either of the two. It was me. Okay. On her first affair, I'm like, let's go get some counseling. Clearly, you're not getting from me what you need from me. We had horrible communication. We didn't talk about shit. Didn't talk about anything. Okay. So I wanted to bring this up with you because I found the therapist. I made the appointment. She agreed to it. She's like, all right, yeah, let's actually do that. Right. Then we walk into the therapist's appointment. And it was all about how horrible of a person I am. From the therapist.
Okay.
Not a single iota of why we were there.
Okay.
So explain that to me, because I hear that story a lot from guys and gals. Like, I wasn't even wasn't there because what I did. I didn't do nothing. Mm-hmm. But yet the therapist jumps down my throat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've heard that before. And I do work with relationships with partners. And that's kind of a new thing for me. Mm-hmm. And to you share that you're being very vulnerable, right? But the purpose of going to therapy is to learn how to be vulnerable, not with the therapist, but with the person who's sitting next to you. So for you to have enough wherewithal, compassion to say, okay, I want to figure this out, right? We need to learn to communicate. First C, number 1 C. If I could teach everybody how to communicate, I'd hang my hat on that.
Right.
The second thing is that you have to go in with compassion and kind of find some consistency with that. With the therapist, what she should have done is talk deep. What is missing? How can you show compassion to one another? And how are you going to do that consistency? So you would have to look at her heart, and you have to speak to her heart and vice versa. She would have to look at you and speak to your heart.
Right.
Because you continue to pit each other against each other, you get divorced.
Right. Well, and that was so funny because I walked out of that first appointment after that, and I'm like, I'm never going back there again.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know.
Mm-hmm.
And my now ex, she's like, yeah, I'm not going back to that either.
Yeah.
But the second time I went to therapy, when we actually did get divorced
Mm-hmm.
after the second affair, after we moved here, it wasn't about that. It was about me not making sure that I was in a good enough mental state to take my kids, like,
Mm-hmm.
and to have, you know,
To co-parent.
to co-parent.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was about, because I was
Yeah.
already done. I'm like, nope, not
Right.
again.
And so what made you, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, and I want to go back to your first question because I don't know if I even answered that question for you, but what was in your heart that you said, I want to repair this with her? I want to figure out how we can make this work.
She was my wife.
Okay.
She was the mother of my children. She was the person that I was supposed to die with. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I told her flat out, I'm like, I would have roped the moon for you. I would have done anything.
Yeah.
There's just nothing.
Did you notice anything earlier on before the affair?
I didn't notice shit. I was completely blindsided on both of them. I thought we were good. Good. And even to this day, when I look back ahead of that, I would have never known.
Were you good? I'm sorry. One more question. Were you good like when you first met her, good when you were courting, when you were so in love with her and you wanted her for the rest of your life? Was it that good?
It wasn't that good, but it was good as I called, because we got together young. It was a matured good. It was, our love changed from, oh, I want to be with you, I want to touch you, I want to hang on to you, I want to cuddle all the time, to, hey, how about you pick out the movie while I do the dishes? Kind of good.
And then go back to the kissing, the cuddling,
Exactly.
and loving all over each other. And that's what happens in long-term relationships. You lose that essence of intimacy,
right,
of physical touch, of that's how we connect with humans.
Right. And I think we do that as men.
Mm-hmm.
We get into our ruts, and especially construction workers, when we're so tired, you know, working long hours, busting our asses. And then we're just like, I just need to breathe.
Right. And that's when the first C in the communication should have came.
Right.
Having that communication of what you needed and what you wanted, and vice versa, hearing what she needed and what she wanted.
Right.
And then it's almost like you rewrite those vows and you come up with a new kind of contract and you revisit it weekly to make sure that you really are doing it, whatever it is, to be with that person.
Right.
And if you look at that person and say, I don't really want to be with that person anymore, then you should probably leave.
Right.
Right. I mean, and that's
exit out. Right?
Yes.
Yep.
And instead we hurt each other over and over and over again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Jason, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
What'd
no,
you got?
you were both in the middle of a thought. That's why I raised my hand like I was in school. We got a teacher here, right? No, I was just thinking something that, not that I'm a licensed professional counselor myself, but I did find it interesting listening to you talk that you said it was the person you were supposed to die with, not the person you were supposed to spend the rest of your life with. If I was a psychologist, I might have asked you more about that. That says a lot about you, I think, buddy. The person I was supposed to die with, not spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
And that's
I knew what you were getting at.
That's a good point that you bring in, right? So as I brought out my piece of paper, because that's my job, is to really listen to you. And then those little things that pop up, I got to write down and then go back to.
Right.
And tell me more about that, right? And I always go back to the beginning when you first met that person. Tell me that story. Tell me what you felt. Tell me what you loved about that person. You know, like on and on and on. Because if you can't remember,
right,
and you don't want it, and that's the hard part of relationships, especially when you get busy and you're tired and you're in that rut. What becomes more important? Going to work, making the money.
right.
At least that, I would think if you were having trouble in your marriage, at least that part would feel like a success. Things aren't going like you hoped at home, but at least when I go to work, I'm getting things like there has to be something that you're feeling positive about. So you throw yourself into that, I would presume.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, and let's face it, like the number one leader of divorces is financial issues and financial problems, right? What do? You go to work to make money. Like, you got to fix the situation. You got to go to work more. Oh, well, that means you're just leaving your really pissed off spouse sitting on the corner while you're trying to make money. And guys, we tend to try to fix things. That's all we tend to do. Like, that's our natural, hey, I got it, I'm going to go fix it. Yeah, that doesn't really work.
Well, it's a different language.
Right.
Men speak a different language than women, and vice versa, right?
Yep.
You are providing. That's the primal instinct of
Protection,
men.
providing.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. And women, we just want connection.
Yep.
And we lose it somewhere, just like you're working all the time. So I would agree, finances are right up there. Right next to it is intimacy and sex. And if you're not getting that either, there goes your relationship.
Yep. Yeah. What's the saying? If I can't get it from you, I'm finding it from somebody else. Like,
as Ron White once said, I'm a pretty good dog, but you got to pet me once in a while, keep me under the porch.
Yes. And so how do you
Right.
how do you communicate that to your wife? How do you say that so she hears you and you work towards change?
From my limited experience, I've only had the one marriage, and I plan on only having the one. You just have to find a way to say the basic male thought of what you're asking for in your head to a romantic, for lack of a better word, way to your spouse. Like, not, hey, let's go eat. Like, hey, we haven't been out to dinner in a while. Like, just a simple think ahead, not just the information they need that you're trying to convey, because how I say it more than likely doesn't convey it to the person. So knowing them well enough to convey it in a way that they heard what they wanted to hear, as long as it's honest, it's good.
Right. And so you did that. Why? Because you wanted to connect with her heart. Because if you connect with your wife's heart, you're going to get a better response.
Yeah. I don't know that I would put it exactly that way, but it's as good as any explanation I could have had.
But I'm a female, and that's what I felt. So, and men don't like I'm saying, like,
this is a perfect example.
Right. You said what you said. It wasn't wrong. You made the connection of, like, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's go out to dinner and spend some time, right? You're talking to her heart. She's going, okay, great. He really does want to spend time with me. He really does love me. Just the way that you said it.
But devil's advocate.
No, keep it coming.
Okay.
I love this.
Not for me, because I'm actively trying to I want to have a long, happy marriage. Like, who doesn't, right? If you don't
be married.
Get a divorce and don't get married, right? Like, if you get with a person you're going to be with and you say you want to be with them, you can try to make it work. Like, it just makes sense. Lost my train of thought. Oh, I was going to be a little devil's advocate. What about the person out there who would say, my spouse should know what I mean? We've been together 20 years. They know me. They know I love them. What if you really believe that?
You probably do. You probably do believe that. But now write down what it is that your spouse, your partner really wants. And then say, right?
Oh, sure.
And have that conversation about it. There's the disconnect is the conversation, is the communication.
Yeah, I'll say, like, again, I am just trying to, I'm trying to play, steel man my position. It's not my position, but I know lots of people who feel this way.
Right. But I'm pushing back then, but then a guy a partner has to go and actually have a conversation and push that button, or possibly have a conflict, or maybe need to put a little bit more on their plate. And then we just avoid. So there's this avoidance attachment. There's also anxious attachment. Like, you don't want to say too much, because then you get all anxious about saying too much, and that person so it gets so twisted and confusing, right? I'm sure I'm confusing you guys. I get confused too in what I'm saying.
Actually,
No,
not.
it's not at all. It's,
Okay.
Yeah, it's very concise.
Okay. So then what do you do about that? And so I just feel like there's definitely a lot of podcasts out there that do a really good job of kind of breaking this down, going through where you can make a connection with. But I do feel like people need to kind of relearn the relationship patterns that they brought from way back when into the relationship they're in now. And those, going back to the triggers, Jason, that you were talking about, like something is said and you're like so appalled, but really it's not really what that person said or did. It's where it hits you because it happened to you before.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that negative feeling again. That's great.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that. Sure.
Yeah. You instantly you can feel your whole body tense up, and you want to say something. You're like, ooh, I'm not saying that.
Right.
I'm keeping my mouth shut because that's not where that's coming from.
And if you're smart enough to realize that, I don't
Right.
think a lot of people are. They just avoid it. They walk away and call that person something in their head, or they get really mad. I'm sorry, I keep hitting this thing.
No, you're good.
They get really mad, right? And then they attack.
Yep.
And they
Actually say the thing. Or
Except
in
for-
terrible cases,
yes.
do the thing. Like,
yes.
Except for at the same time, like I would much rather somebody say it at me. If I piss somebody off, my wife, my friends, coworkers, I'd rather them come at me instead of hanging on to that. And then when I make some smart ass remark that I'm known for making, 3 months down the road, that shit comes up again. Like, and they snap at that. And then I'm going, why did that just freaking upset you?
Mm.
But yet it's this thing that I said before that. I would much rather it just be, hey, right here.
Exactly.
You pissed me off. This is what we're going to do.
But there's two things to that. Number one, you're from Minnesota, right?
Nope.
You're not?
I grew up in Wyoming and South Dakota.
And you're not either.
I'm definitely not.
Okay, so,
Minnesota and ice don't exist.
oh my God, the passive
It's aggressive.
aggressiveness.
Yep.
I was just talking about it the other day.
Yeah. It is not Minnesota nice.
Midwesterners do three things real well.
Yep.
Dairy products, cheese, and being passive aggressive in Olympic level ways.
Yes. And petty.
Right.
Petty Olympic
Right.
elite level. Yeah, I love it actually.
Right.
Now that I'm consciously aware of it, it's actually funny to see from the outside a little.
So when you're saying just be direct with me, right? That's how you want to communicate, but you're with a passive aggressive person
They ain't going to do it.
because
Nope.
you're right. They held on to this way back here and they walked away from it before. They didn't say anything, but they held on to it.
Yep.
And it's like a snowball. They just build it up until they're ready to throw it right back in your face.
Yep.
But they'll smile and everything will be okay. And then that one will come like a curveball and smack you in the head. And in relationships, that doesn't work because that's where the bitterness and the resentment and all of that anger just lives inside, So the directness. And I know that both of you dated long distance and you were forced to talk to that person about everything and anything and almost like have that pause for a minute and go, ooh, what you just said like hit me. And is it me or is it you? And you didn't want to fight with that person because you didn't get to see him. So you had to do more internal work.
Yep.
Well, you don't. It takes the possibility of waiting for your turn to talk, which lots of people do in lots of cases. It happens. You can't do that because a lot of times you were listening on the phone, you didn't know where your turn was, or you're physically like with my wife and I. It was a lot of phone calls, but it was a lot of emails because we were also planning and working with the government. Like it was a 21st century pen pal where neither of us had a chance to react. We just got to listen, take it all in, and reflect from it. Like, oh, okay, now I'll write back what I think and read it over again. It's a better way to get to know somebody, I think.
And you didn't live with that person. So
Right.
then you didn't have the day-to-day monotonous
Right.
thing going on. You were still in your heart going, oh God, but I really want to see this person. So I'm going to be like almost extra nice and be extra direct and listen very carefully.
And at least I know I get to talk to them tonight at 7 or whatever. it was,
Right.
So yeah.
Yep.
Right.
And you change your whole life. You're like, okay, I'm going to call them at, it's going to take, I don't care how long.
Right.
There's 3.5, 4 hour conversations.
Right.
You're up until midnight, but you didn't give a shit. You're
Right.
like, all right, yeah. But then you start living with them and then you're all like, we never talk anymore.
Yeah. And so it has to be intentional.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
work has to continue to be intentional. And because both of you were kind of programmed in doing it unconsciously while you were away, it's more likely if you bring it up, you can go back to, gosh, I really miss those long conversations. How can we make that happen? We're people that lived together right away or were young and they had, like, we don't know how to communicate.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. But on both sides of that. Well, and that's what's so funny too, is when you actually learn how to communicate with your partner, coworkers, whatever, it actually becomes way easier. You don't worry about offending them. You don't worry about, because
Right.
I'm going to talk to Jason way differently, and I can get something across that's bugging the shit out of me to Jason in a different way that I can with my wife.
Why
Right.
is that?
Because if John was to cross, not for all men, and I'm not trying to be like manly, but if John was to cross the wrong line, he would have an immediate feedback.
Right.
But what's wrong with that? She's being direct.
No, I'm talking about if I said something to John that was so much over the line, I'd get
Oh.
a pop in the nose or something.
Right.
There is the ability, if you're of a certain breed like we are, I guess, the way we grew up, there was some solving of problems wrongly, physically. That threat is still there, and we know.
But it wasn't. I'm gonna correct you there, because it's not a wrong thing, because we're programmed that way.
Right.
That's our lizard brain. It's like, no, this is what's gonna happen. Like, fuck all the way off.
2,000 years of civilization does not outweigh 3 million years of genetics. It doesn't happen right away. That is
Right.
for sure.
Right. But I can talk to him differently than I can my wife. I sugarcoat things. Sugarcoat's the wrong word.
No, it's right.
It is.
Sugarcoat's right.
I sugarcoat things for my wife
Why?
because I know that she's more of an emotional creature. And so I will communicate more emotionally and softer and gentler with my wife than I would Jason.
Right. So you're protecting her because that's your role,
Yep.
to protect her.
Yep. But
Mhm.
if I get angry or if I have an issue that I really want to drive home, I don't drive it home like I would with anybody else, with
Mhm.
Jason, with my brother, with my sister, with, any other female in my life, even my kids.
Correct.
I won't talk to my wife like I do my kids.
Correct. So we talked earlier about IQ and EQ, right?
Yep.
You have to have some intelligence to be able to do that, right? That code switching, I'd
Yep.
like to call it. The other thing,
That's a good word.
it's really good. I use that with kids all the time because they would come into school acting a fool. And I'm like, code switch, check that at the door. You're in school. These are school rules, right? And that's just institutionally how it works. Same thing happens in our life. You just have to code switch. And if you have enough empathy and compassion for somebody, you're going to meet them where they're at. You're not going to come in like a bulldozer and just say, no, this is how it is. No, if you want respect back, you're going to come in and feel the room. I'm in this setting with my wife now. It's this time. I'm 3 hours late. I'm going to have, you have to think.
Right.
And that's how relationships work. You have to just stop and think and like, okay, how do I present this? What's going to go off the best? And then still we got to talk about this. You don't go shut the door and go to bed and say, we'll talk about it in the morning. That's not going to fly with your wife.
Right.
And then you would get a percentage of people who would say, they know I love them. They know I'm not trying to hurt their feelings. I'm just going to say it this way because I don't have the time or energy or whatever right now to sugarcoat. I'm just going to say what I say.
Mm-hmm. And that's where's my just gaslighting that stuff. Because if you know better, if you're going to be in your primal brain, you're going to know better. How would that make you feel? Right? And that's that whole walk in somebody's shoes,
Sure.
right? Empathy. And then how do you put yourself in that shoes? How would I feel if she came home 3 hours late and walked in the room and didn't tell me anything? You have to just stop for a second and think, okay, what would I want? How would I want that conversation to go? What would I ask? So when you're driving home and that's going on, you got to be thinking like, okay, I got to have a plan. I know she's going to come and ask me this question. How do I meet her where she's at? And if you've never been in that position, you're not going to know how to kind of script that out in your head.
I guess everything we talked about so far, I can tell you one thing, man. I'm super happy I haven't had to deal with my spouse cheating on me or vice versa. Because that sounds like a nightmare.
It's a bitch.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I like how you say there, that whole, you're not going to, just go to bed and stuff like that. Because I heard it said once, and I'm this way. I don't talk finances or any important big shit when I lay down in bed. It's not allowed in the bed. I'm that way. I'm very strict with it. I'm like, I've shut down my wife several times because her brain, she's an entrepreneur. Her brain's constantly going. And then on these busy days, that we get, and then she's like, oh, hey, this, as soon as we hit the pillow. And I'm like, nope.
That's a great boundary. Great boundary.
Like,
I don't want to go to sleep talking about that.
No,
Yeah.
we ain't fucking doing that.
Great boundary.
The bed is for love making and sleeping. That's it. Like, leave it the fuck alone.
Love that.
It's a pretty good rule.
Yep.
But I think a lot of people don't get into the understanding of when it comes to communications, you need to have those boundaries in place in order to have effective communication. And
Right.
I'm just saying things that have worked for us is there are certain times, and when we have to talk finances, it's scheduled. It's planned.
Yep.
So both of us can get in the right mindset. Like, hey, this Friday, we need to sit down and have our meeting, our financial meeting. Like,
but you're aware, you two are analytical and very like plan oriented.
yes.
For a lot of people, that's on the fly right after dinner while Susie's getting ready to go to baseball practice, getting that in.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, you're aware that happens though, right? Like some people are just trying to get
Absolutely.
that information in while they can quick when they have a minute. When unfortunately they could be looking at each other and going, hey, I hope you're having a good day. We're going to get through the stress together. But not everybody thinks that in the moment.
Yep. And I think everybody should.
Right.
That's what we're trying to get at.
That's the intentionality behind it. So if a weekly meeting and you have an agenda, and I work with couples, partners to come up with the agenda, it's not just the finances and running the business. It's love mapping. It is asking tough questions like recognizing, man, I appreciate what you did this week. I don't know if I told you that. And I also got to tell you, this really pissed me off. And I didn't say anything and I was challenged by it. And you both have to be able to take both of those things and use that time to dig deeper. So it's not in the bedroom. It's not in the bed because that is a sacred space. And if you just shut down your wife and said, this is my boundary, and you didn't come up with a solution or say, what would be a good time for us to do this? Now you both have this compromise. You both come to bed, do what you want to do in bed. And that stuff stays outside the bedroom. And there's that distinction because I'm just going to tell you, women love to be in their feminine energy. If we are allowed to shut down our brain at night and only be yours, we're going to be much more productive also.
Oh, there's a big pause.
I vapor locked, folks. Sorry about the pause.
That was way more than a vapor lock.
I vapor locked with about 40 things across my brain right there.
I don't know if I've ever seen that happen.
I could have went so many directions right there. I'm going to keep the plan. All right. So on the note of what you're talking about, okay. I like your point, John.
On the vein.
Setting a good boundary. So what about when a small change? Again, I have a positive version of this, but when a small change that is perceived as negative ends up being a benefit and people are scared to take a move. So, for example, we talked in our pre-interview. My wife and I have been what I've now called bedroom divorced for 5 years. On the weekends, we sleep in the same bed together, but during the week, we would keep each other up, whether through sleeplessness or snoring or whatever it was. And I had seen older couples in my youth and went, oh, they sleep in separate bedrooms. That's almost over. Uncle Jim and Aunt Jan are almost done. Like they're sleeping in separate rooms. And now it has been a huge benefit to me and my spouse to have it that way. There's still obviously days during the week where one of us sneaks in the other bed and we'll curl up and go to sleep. But the non-sleepless nights and non-cranky at the person because they're whatever was keeping you up, it seems like it would have been a negative and it's turned out to be a positive, and I never would have probably thought to even try something except it organically happened because on the nights that one of us was like that, they went in the other room.
So then, and I'm going to go back to the benefits, and I want to hear those benefits, that had to be verbalized. You had to have a conversation. You had to get curious and say, okay, so why is it you're going to the other room? Like, what is going on? You had to get curious. You didn't avoid it and go, oh my gosh, that person doesn't love me anymore. And think in your head. You actually had to discuss it.
I was fortunate that we immediately, after this had happened, just a handful of times where the person woke up in the other bed, immediately we were like, am I keeping you up? Like, what's going on? And then you have the conversation of, whether it's whatever, snoring, sleeplessness,
Mouth breathing.
or I'm pissed at you and we need to talk about this. Right. And that's another reason why people slowly fade away, but they don't.
Thank you.
They don't become honest with each other and say, I'm hurt, I'm frustrated, I'm pissed off, I'm sad. And you dig deeper and you crawl in bed with them and say, okay, can we just hold each other tonight and let's talk about it tomorrow? Or if you want to talk about it now, let's talk about it now. And if that ever happened and you said to Michelle, no, I'm tired, I got to go to bed, I got to get up in the morning, most likely she's never going to ask again. And men do the same. Like they come and they might say something really small like that. And a woman says, I don't have time, or you didn't do this. Like it's this combat, whoop, shut down, never going to talk about it again.
Yep.
And then you got to get curious about that. And then you're just digging yourself out of this hole. So going back to, we decided it was best for us. How did that conversation go? How was it brought up?
As I said, it was literally just it had happened a handful of times. We talked about it immediately. Like, are you going in there because of this? Like, or are you just pissed? No, it's because you were snoring, or you kick in your sleep, or you like more blankets and I like less, and it's too cold. We were just sleeping at different paces, so to speak. It wasn't a bad thing. It was just very quick of, this isn't the end of the world. Don't think that I don't love you, but I kind of want to sleep through the week because we both have to work, and I'll see you on Friday.
Right. Good for you.
It was a pretty casual, actually, marriage conversation of, this isn't the end of the world, and if you don't feel like it that night, I'm in the next room over, and I'll do the same to you. Like,
and you clarified it, and you moved on from it. And I know you and Michelle, you have a great open relationship. Like, Michelle will say what she wants to say, and you don't have pushback or get in your head about things, and vice versa. You say what, like, there's this acceptance piece, and I really do feel like it's because you were forced to talk. You were forced to like be really open and honest with each other from early on.
And even since then, since we have no kids, we don't have the move away distraction. I'm not talking to them about that right now. I got to take Johnny to baseball. We don't have that. We are there with each other. Mm-hmm. If you go for a walk, you go for a walk, but you only go for so many walks alone where the person's like, you trying to get away from me because of something I said? I'm like, what are we doing here? No, I've been very fortunate that way. And I've mentioned before on the podcast, Michelle is frank. She's very forthright with what she says. She doesn't try to...
She's not Minnesota nice.
Yeah, she doesn't try to sugarcoat things. It's an abruptness that I think came from... She went to school partially with people who were partially or completely deaf. So she grew up signing. There's not a lot of nuance in the signing community. It's the information, and that's the way she talks. It was a little jarring when I first got married, but now that I've got some years of experience, it's like, oh, it's so much better. She just tells you what she thinks most of the time.
Greatly appreciate it. And so I'm just going to go back to something that you said about we don't have the kids that are interfering with all those things.
Not interfering, but it can be a distraction.
Okay. You said it kindly, but that's one thing that is kind of like a relationship killer. And no one will admit to that having kids, you like that marriage before kids is a completely different marriage with kids.
No doubt.
And if you do not talk about it, you do not confront it, you don't come up with a plan, you're going to die in that marriage and may not make it to the next marriage, which I think there's a good marriage after the kids are out of the house and you make it through that. I didn't make it through it because the kids.
Lots of people do. You're right, though. I mean, some people can make it.
And it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, some people can make it.
You are so distracted and you become different people. I became an amazing mom, and I will admit, gosh, it's from the manifesting I did. I will admit I was not a good wife. I wasn't that wife that crawled in bed and said, okay, I'm here for you, honey. And now I know that's important, and I should have. But there was also things that I wasn't getting also that I wasn't talking about, right? And so...
compounding problems compound.
Exactly. And working too much and, I call it living inside that box. Everybody looks and everything looks really super great. And you're doing all the things that everything tells you should be doing. And you walk around with a smile on and you're not talking, you're dying inside.
Yeah, you're absolutely miserable.
I hope you take this in the way I mean it. I knew you during that phase and then saw the progression after, and to hear you say it now, it's a real 360 for me. It's like, I remember that, Amber. I remember her very distinctly. Like, yeah. And I was unaware from the outside at the time.
Yeah, and people say that, and I take that with a grain of salt, with holding my heart, because I feel like I was surviving as well as everybody else that was in the situation, because financially, we had all kinds of things going on, and it was until I admit I lost it. I imploded. I went into early menopause. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I had no one to talk to. I wasn't even seeing a therapist. I was working with all of these kids, solving all of the world's problems, and I was not talking to anyone, including the people closest to me, my family, the people that I loved, and I shut down. So no different than what you guys are talking about. I just put on my mom hat and then my teacher hat, and then
and then closed her down.
Yes.
Locked it in tight.
Yes.
And I mean,
Yeah,
for both of us here, a lot of families are like this, I'm sure. You can't, I've noticed within this family who is very loving and supportive. I say early and often, I got lucky. My in-laws are mostly really cool. I know people complain about their in-laws. My in-laws have been stellar. Like, it's great. Mm-hmm. But this family is a lot because you can't briefly mention something it's giving you a hard time and get a quick hug or a pat on the shoulder and go, listen, it's going to be all right. No. As soon as you mention it, it's a whole thing and you got to talk about it. And sometimes that's not what you're looking for.
Yep.
Sometimes you just need hey, we're going to get through this. Okay. That don't happen, I noticed, with most of this family. They like to dig in and discuss the problem.
And if you've grown up in the family your whole entire life, you'll use the tactics of silence and avoidance.
Right.
Like, I was moved out of my house, living out of a carry-on bag, and nobody knew. Not a single person. Except for my immediate family, who I wasn't going home to anymore.
Right.
I went on with life. We did Christmas. We did all the things. Who does that? Someone that does not want to share the failure. And I had no idea what was going on. So I just I'm going to run over here for a little while and hide out.
I get it.
Coping with grief.
Right. Speaking of the great coping mechanisms, John and I are having, can we offer you anything else?
I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, if you change your mind, we can pause. It's okay. Yeah, if you need anything.
And I know this is really deep, and I didn't really actually plan to go this deep, so I don't know if this is even going to fit in.
We just go the way we go on this. Yeah.
This is great.
We have a vague idea of things we want to talk about. This is great. Don't worry about it. I must admit, I find it hilarious when Amber was originally talking to you. She got a piece of paper and she had her pen. I'm like, really? Like,
I saw it and I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go.
It's super like counselor therapist. I love
right. Well, and I have ADHD, so to track, I'm like, okay, you got the screen in front of you. I'm like, I got to pay attention. Otherwise it goes, like you said, oh wait, I lost that for a minute. No, mine goes like gone. It's never coming back.
What you're talking about.
Once I accepted the fact that sometimes through distraction or over information or having a drink or whatever we're doing on the show, I will occasionally just forget my train of thought. I just let it go now. I'm like, well, forgot that one. Maybe it'll come back to me. And most of the time it does. Right. But it used to stress me out. I would get quiet and then there'd be dead spots on the podcast. I'm like,
yes. But can you imagine, Jason, your therapist sitting across and then like just keep losing what it is they want to say and not paid attention? And
you're not wrong.
So it's my job, and I take that job so seriously. So that my hesitation, I think last year when you asked me to do this, I didn't feel like I had all this really great confidence. I mean, even someone that had 4 degrees, there's an imposter syndrome that comes when someone sits down and I'm like, whew, okay, I'm going to get this information.
For us.
It's same for us. We have had to, on occasion, yours included, I was able to tell from your initial reaction, okay, let this simmer for a while. Don't pester poor Amber about this. If she's interested, she'll come back, which is eventually obviously what happens. We're here now. And then other people like jump right in like, oh, yes, great. I'd love to do it. I feel I'm a good enough judge of character now to just sense a little hesitation and go, okay, come to it if you do when you come to it. Yeah. It's great. Yep. And also, you only come in and enjoy something like this and speak your mind when you want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I say that to the point of what we're just saying. If you want to be in the relationship with the person, you got to kind of come to some of that on your own and go, yep, I'm interested in trying, or no, I'm not. And then you come to the terrible decision of, which some people have been through, of a divorce.
Right.
Or ending just a relationship. Maybe it's not even a marriage. Maybe it's just a long-term relationship with somebody.
Right.
Which doesn't even have to be your spouse. That could be a brother,
A
or sister,
relationship in
long-term
general.
friend.
Mhm.
Right?
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think what would benefit people more when it comes to, just to touch what you said, right? You not just divorce, but the ending of a long-term friendship, or you're finally getting enough courage to separate from your family, like your siblings and stuff. They're toxic. You're just getting the fuck away from them. Like, if it would be more beneficial in all those cases to teach people to learn how to deal with their grief process, simplifies all of that.
Mhm.
If somebody could actually come to grips with the grief, because
That's my job.
yeah, but
that's what therapists are there for. If they're doing their job correctly. And there are so many niches out there. Like, you can't just go through Psychology Day and just like, wow, randomly, oh, she's really cute, or that person looks old enough. No, you have to read the profiles.
You can,
have
but
to
it's
know.
not the best way to do it. I mean,
right.
yeah.
But you're right. You have to kind of know what it is. You've had to dig deep enough yourself to go, I want to work through this, because relationship patterns are across the board, right? And so even me coming here, like you listed some negative things that people work through. For me to come here, I wanted to be able to come and build a relationship with you, with your listeners, for them to have a different light. Because I listened to your podcast, I'm like, how in the hell am I going to fit into this? Like, what do I have to offer, right?
But you see it now, right? Already?
Right. And it was a couple conversations I've had with you. It was kind of switching my niche. So my profile, you guys read it, is really about life transitions. It's about supporting not just women. I mean, I feel like I can be a little bit more of an expert with women because I've been there, done that. But that there's
You still are.
I know.
Like-
I come
Ongoing.
fully
Yeah.
fully equipped with everything. But no, just that whole piece of, I wanted to contribute to this connection with you and also learn from you. So again, if we approach life and the people that are in our lives as, I want to learn more, I'm going to take this with intention seriously, you're going to make deeper connections and you're going to want to keep them. You're not going to throw them out, And so, and I hope I didn't come off, because I heard you say something, John, so I just kind of loop back around it, about leaving my family because it was toxic. It wasn't. My family was beautiful. I was toxic. I had things I needed to work on, and I didn't know how to do it with being a mom, running a household, being at work, being a good daughter, being a good friend. All of those things, I didn't know how to manage it. I had to figure out who the fuck I was. Totally lost in everybody else's world. And I have lots of regret and guilt and shame, but I'm telling you, every single year that I wake up and all these things that I have here help me just look at myself and go, wow, all of these things represent something to me that I've had to dig deeper to learn myself. And my relationships with my daughters are amazing. My relationships with my family, amazing. Like, my mom and I love her to death, but we've had a rocky road,
Fathers and sons, mothers and daughters, right? What are you going to do?
Yes,
That's through the history of the
yes.
world. Yeah.
And that's what I was referring to, is that the separation from his family was
Yes.
from me, not from you, but
Yeah.
it was because I don't really
Right.
speak with my family.
And so then those are the things that come up right now, this time of year, right? Family, all these memories. I'm full. I'm working through the holidays because people get presented and they have to go to the holidays and they're like, oh my God, this is going to happen. It's like, okay, well, how can you script that differently? Because you're not going to change anything there. How can you act differently? How can you present your, like, it's all in the psyche. And so I had to start practicing that myself and really dig deep. And I get so charged when people come to me and I'll say, how did you find me? What is it that you want to work on? It's this connection. It's this energy. And I really want to help people because people helped me get through what I had to get through.
Oh, for sure.
So let me ask you a question about that specifically. What happens when you get, we'll say a couple for the sake of the example, and one of the people doesn't want to be there? They got drugged by their spouse. Do you Do you point it out obviously? Do you just try to put it right on the table, go, okay, Amber, you do not want to be here, I can tell? Or is it more tenderfoot, as somebody might say? Like, how do you handle it?
That's such a great question. And any of my people that I've worked with will know I do ask the big question, you know? Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to give me the answer at the end of this session. And I want to know the truth because it'll make a difference on how we work together or how we don't work together or how we work together separately. And can you guys guess what that question is that I ask them right when they sit down?
No.
Do you want to be here?
Why do you want to be here?
Good one.
I'm going to be even more direct than that. I'm going to say, are you here to win it? In it to win it? Are you on the fence? Or are you checked out, done? And those are 3 choices, right? And so we go through and I do whatever it is that I do, right? Every couple's different based upon what they present to me on the phone or in their little bio. And then at the end, I'm like, okay, there's 2 things I'm going to ask you and you're going to do. And they have to, before they leave, they have to be honest. And be honest, because if you're sitting next to someone that says, I'm done, I don't want to be here, this relationship is over, well, then that's a different kind of co-parenting thing that we're going to do. Get an individual counselor, work through that, right? I have something to work with. So do they. And then the other question is, I want you to look at that person in the eye and I want you to stare at them for 20 seconds. And I want you to hold their hand. And then tell me later, some other time, what you saw, what you felt, and what you're thinking.
Yeah, because I asked the question because I was worried that there's a lot of cases where it's someone, and I heard this exact term from somebody I know recently who was going through counseling with her husband. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, I'm just checking off that box. So when we get divorced, I can say I tried. You're already done then. What are you doing?
Right.
Yeah.
You're obviously done.
Yeah.
Like,
she's already closed off, like,
right.
Checked out. Yeah. Done.
Right.
I presume that's just someone trying to protect their own self-image in front of other people. So they could say, oh, I did my best. I tried. Like, did you?
Well, so there's the essence of, number one, you made the effort to show up. I'm going to honor that, right? And the second thing is, if you're going to show up and you're going to pay me $250 an hour to sit here and tell me your stuff and I'm going to help you, then we should all make it worth our while. And
a lot of insurance is covered, folks. Don't let the number scare you.
No, they don't. And I don't take insurance because insurance is a whackety whack.
We've talked about it before. Keep going. Sorry to cut it there.
That's okay. But then I'm also putting a value on what I'm doing.
Right.
And I'm going to take it serious. And as a teacher, each couple gets a different outline, a different lesson. They get homework. You're going to show up. You're going to show up to either work on this because I want to be in this. I'm on the fence. Convince me that this is going to work, or help us move past this because we have kids, or help us understand each other so we can co-parent in a way or whatever, or be done with this because it's grief. A relationship you walk away from, it's grief. So how can I cope with this grief?
Yep.
This might have been you who originally said this to me, but if not, that's all right. But it stuck with me for a long time. No happy marriage ends in divorce.
It wasn't me.
Okay, so it's the case
but
of
you're right.
The case of at some point you gotta pull the pin.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That I have to assume is got to be such a crazy hard step. Has there been cases where you saw a couple and knew instinctively that, okay, they ain't gonna make it? I guess I'm trying to put you on the spot here. How do you counsel a couple when you know one or both of them are just completely tapped out, like a pro wrestler, like, I'm done?
Yeah, without bias.
Right.
Like, how do you do that? Just like,
it seems like you can't just tell them, like, I can tell from this that you two are done. I know a good divorce attorney. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Professionally.
Here's the business card.
How do you approach something like that? I know it's a hard question.
I can do that, and I do that, and I have done that.
Really?
Well, again, are you going to show up every Saturday and go through this? And we are in this circle, and now I become part of this circle. I draw the line. My boundary is, I'm not going to get pulled into your circle of crazy. And I say crazy with love because I know we're not supposed to use that, but it really is. It's like, what is the saying? about insane.
The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again,
That-
expecting a different outcome.
Bam, right there. I put the message on my door and I repeat it and I say, okay, let's really look at this. And I will say, I really don't think this is working. Or it's not working here with me. Maybe you need to see somebody else, but I think you really need to think about what we've talked about almost every single week, what the assignments that I've been giving you and you've been doing or not been doing, and what is the end result. Right. And sometimes I'll have a client say, can I meet with you individually and have a conversation? And I'll say, yes. And now this relationship, this triangle ends because I have to be unbiased, non-judgmental, and see it for what you're presenting in front of me. I don't go home with them. So whatever they're sharing with me is the only thing I know.
Yep.
Can I ask you a slightly unprofessional question that I think you can answer honestly? Are there times within the professional anonymity of not talking about your clients that it's just hilarious watching them try to interact and fail with each other? Like there has to be a few couples or even individuals that they're just in such a squirrely position that even you have to sit back and go, wow, Jason's got some real problems. Like, does it happen?
Well, Jason, you know me, and I'm a heartfelt person, so
Sure.
I go to the place of sadness, and I feel bad. I end up feeling bad for at least one of them, right? And then the other one, I feel bad that they actually think that's working. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
The
this
empathy.
Yes, there's this sense of compassion of like, I would never want to be in those shoes, and you are not waking up, and it is not me and this hammer over here or this magic wand that are going to fix this.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, and I think you know me best. I'm pretty candid. I talk about the universe. People that are my clients will know I can go a little woo-woo. You can see I got my crystals here and things like that. But that's nothing more than really pulling it back to you. And what do you believe in? And what are your values? And what is your integrity? Go back home and think about that, because it's affecting this relationship here. And if you aren't being true to yourself and you're just trying to fit into their square, hole, box, circle, triangle, it's never going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And to what you just said, I like the fact that you bring things with you to put in your space that make you feel comfortable. I've been actually racking my brain for about 20 minutes now, trying to think of a better word than trinket because it sounded diminishing. Memories, items, whatever, you know. But you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I like that you do it. Like, why not bring something with you that
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm in a good space here right now.
Yep.
Well, that's what makes us feel comfortable, right?
Right.
And when you don't feel comfortable in your relationship, whatever relationship it is, in your home, in your work, if you are not listening to your body, and you said this, John, like your body just gets all whatever, and then guess what? You get sick, you get cancer, you can't shit, you can't, all those things happen. If your environment is not comfortable and makes you feel good, you got to go. There's your check.
I didn't realize it until I left my previous marriage, because before my divorce, I was diagnosed with chronic migraines. I had serious gut issues, heartburn almost every other day, and a panic attack that I never thought I'd have. But as soon as I got divorced, it was like a month after, all of it went away.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen 3 distinct versions of you in our friendship. Pre-divorce. No, sorry, 4. Pre-divorce, post-divorce, new happy marriage, post-ADHD study.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's good to see growth. It's good to see stuff like that. So it's an actually good thing.
That's pretty trippy.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm sorry, I don't.
No, go. Yeah.
That's your journey.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you had to go through that to get to the space that you're at now, right? And so when I think of my business and how I want to present myself to the world, I include myself in that journey with everybody. It's a wave to get to wellness. You have to ride the wave. If you are going against the wave, you're going to drown. You're going to be sick. All of those things, you have to ride the wave. You have to flow with it, but you cannot flow unless you start listening to yourself. And I will be the first to say that men and women both, females and males both, just get through the grind and get sick.
Yep.
Both
Absolutely.
equally.
I want to ask you something because it was on a form that we were looking at, or a deal for you that we were looking at.
Yeah.
I have a real question about this. All right. In quotations, it says specializing in hormonal challenges, life transitions, anxiety and depression, trauma, identity, and relationships, sex positivity therapy. Sex positive therapy. What the fuck, sorry for the language, is sex positive therapy? What is that?
Can that be a cliffhanger?
It could be. We had some thoughts, but it was such a broad thing. We're like, what?
Well, is that why, Jason, you said I couldn't bring up certain topics?
No, not at all.
No.
I don't. I
brought it with me in case.
Again, as I said, so what Amber's referring to is when we were going back and forth, and we give all our guests a few pre-questions. We don't want you coming in blind. It's not just a attack here. John and I tend to avoid politics, and we tend to avoid a lot of the things that factor into sexuality and neurodivergent people and things like that. Not because we have any strong stances anyway. Live your life, but it gets so much media coverage already. We just don't care to feed into it. We are talking to an audience that's thinking about a lot of other things.
Yeah,
certainly,
we want to focus on other things.
It falls into their families, and it's certainly happened things like that, especially the political side of things. We just don't want to talk. It's talked about enough. There's other people who are educated and experienced in those things that can have intelligent conversations. We would just be talking shit. We decided to avoid it. That's the only reason I said we avoid those things.
Okay, I'm not going to push back on that now, but because I would beg to differ how smart people actually are. But yes, no, sex positive goes along with that. We can't, all of those things that you mentioned. If I did not say that I was sex positive and you were trans, gay, poly, kink, lesbian, wanted to have better sex with your wife, going through erectile dysfunction. If any of that was off limits for me, how good of a therapist would I be? That's all on the table.
Okay. Yeah, so I oversimplified the phrase. That's why when it struck up, it sort of struck me.
So did I.
I thought more along the lines of someone didn't feel good about their body and was not interested. Certainly that would be part of it, but I went very narrow when you're talking very broad. So that's why we wanted to ask.
I was thinking a different type, but sure.
So did I just like ding, ding, ding? It makes sense now?
A lot of things make sense, yeah.
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 We were
generalizing. We were narrowing down when it didn't need to be narrowed down. Yeah.
Like trying to be better in bed. Huh?
Well, that comes up quite often with couples, right? And if someone sees my profile and says sex positive, if they think that way, John, they're probably gonna say, well, let's go to this therapist because then I can bring up the fact that this is not happening and I want this to happen, right? Or that I'm having problems. I'm going to have knowledge and I'm going to be very frank and say, how often are you having sex?
I was wondering where the feather's coming from, but it's coming from your troll doll.
Yeah.
Okay, so you bring up a good point. Like, why do you think it's so hard for couples to be like, this is what I want in bed?
Okay.
This is what I like. This is what I want.
I think you can answer that question. Can you? Why do you think
I can do it.
You can do it.
Yeah.
And you've talked freely about your sexual wants and desires your whole life.
You've lied, son of a bitch. Don't lie on air.
No.
We promised we'd be honest. Don't you lie on air.
No, with my wife, I've told her what I wanted and what I like. Like,
may I ask you a question?
Yeah.
One friend to another?
Yeah.
You're telling me that there ain't one single thing that you might consider a kink, might be normal for other people. There's not one thing that you wanted to try that you've never brought up because you're embarrassed about bringing it up because it might seem a little bit much.
No, let me think.
Conventional versus unconventional.
And that's person to person, couple to couple. What you consider unconventional might be the norm for somebody else.
Right.
I'm not saying anything crazy, right? But you're telling me there isn't one thing that you almost brought up a couple times in the throes of passion and didn't because you're like, nah, that's not going to go well. Don't lie to me. I'm your friend, man. Don't lie to me. If there isn't, good for you. Way to be emotionally and personally aware.
I don't think. Oh, that's a great question. I don't think I have. I honestly don't think. I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not.
Great. Good for you.
Because I'm not a super hyper experimental.
Experimental
person.
I was going to use the word vanilla. I'm glad you had a nice better way to say
So
that.
are you conventional then, John?
Very much so.
So if your wife brought up something unconventional, what would happen?
Oh, we'd have a solid conversation about it.
And?
I don't know.
Okay.
Never happened.
So you just asked me a question. If a couple comes in and they want to talk about things, this would be a conversation that I would bring up and say, okay, let's be honest. What do you want? Most women, and I'm generalizing again because we were trained from the minute we came out of the womb to be pretty and validated, but keep your mouth shut and do what you're supposed to do. And do not say the word vagina, penis, or enjoy sex. And I'm generalizing. That is so generalization, but literally ask any woman out there if they masturbated. Most of them will say no to your face.
Yeah. Oh my
And
God.
9 out of 10 of them have.
I tell you what, that's why I had to get carpal tunnel surgery.
But see,
Wow.
again, okay. And I love how you can laugh about that. But see, guys can talk about it. Even
I mean,
the
we're-
girls don't even talk about it. And so when I say sex positive, I want to have this energy within my office where it's okay to any person, man, woman, to just say, I would really like for this to happen. Or I haven't had a real orgasm in 10 years. And we need to do something about that.
Right.
God, I hope people don't go 10 years, but they probably do, as you say.
Some,
I
I'm
don't-
sure.
I know my spouse wouldn't let me go that long without helping her out, and I'm the same way. At 10
Right.
But
No.
here, Jason, I'm gonna, and thank you for saying that, because I think that's what men think. I have to do something. It's the woman's responsibility to really confront their desire, their libido, their arousal, their erogenous zones, thinking outside the box. Like, what is your fantasy? I don't have any of them. Really? Okay. So I'm going to give you
Think harder.
50 shades of grade. And now you come back and tell me if there's anything in there that titillated you. Let's talk about that.
Right.
Look,
Right.
I've never been proud when it came to that. Hey, I'm here to help you get the job done. You let me know what I can do.
Right.
It's real simple.
Yeah.
But there's the key. Let me know.
Yeah, let me know.
Yep.
Most women do not.
Right.
know.
And
Most women, in my experience, have not been willing
Yes.
to do
and
that.
I think that's a big hang up too. And speaking from a man's point of view is tell me what works for you. I can do that.
But if a woman says, I don't know,
Then let's figure it fuck out.
thank you.
Like,
Let's figure it. Yes.
like
But we're
Yes.
also guys who have been married for a long time and been through relationships and have learned the hard lessons.
right.
A younger couple,
Yeah.
more recently married, let's say in their early mid 20s, or even late 20s, they might not have had enough relationship long-term experience, especially in my opinion, not to go off on a tangent here, but the ease of the dating hookup apps might have taken some of that practice of partner pleasing out of a culture of young people where they're like, there's always the next one.
Oh,
I'll just keep
absolutely.
swiping.
And you both aren't from Minnesota, marrying your high school sweetheart and literally never having anyone else
You fucking
for
bitch.
50 years of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
John's
about
like, what?
I married, my first marriage was that.
Yeah. Right? Then that cannot be normal. We are primal animals.
We had other partners before that, but yeah, like it wasn't.
I'm sorry. You had sex out of wedlock, you heathen?
Oh, lots.
And see, so the sex positive thing throws in culture, and it throws in religion, and it throws in feminism, and it throws in,
Masculinity.
all of that, and how our education system literally does the same thing. We don't talk about that in here. And if we do, guess what, parents? You can sign off and opt out that your kid does not hear anything about sex.
Yeah, it's a joke. They have everything everything they need to find it in their hands now. I think that's what people forget.
But is
It's-
that real? I mean, I've watched some things and I'm like, that is not real
Does it
sex.
matter if it is or not? Does it matter if it's a 14-year-old,
In the way they're learning. doesn't
13-year-old,
matter.
right? Their life is on this thing.
Okay, John, but what are they learning? Tell me, when a 14-year-old boy is looking at a woman who has everything perfect and walks and talks this beautiful, and then screams the loudest orgasmic scream 2 minutes into sex.
Right. And is
lie,
willing.
Lie.
Yeah. And is willing,
Absolutely.
in air quotes, willing to do whatever.
Yep. And
It's ridiculous, right?
But that's what I'm getting at. It is all lie. A lot of it is all lies, but the kids don't know that it is.
Right. So
They
need
don't understand that it is.
parents and educators and other people to give them the facts.
Right.
I used to teach that when I was a middle school counselor. I had to go into the classrooms and pull up the slideshow and like say, okay, here is anatomically a girl and a boy and what everything looks like, man, female. And guess what? You can laugh once. And then you can look at yourself and go, yep, that's what I have. And you can look at the girl sitting next to you and say, wow, that's what she has. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of different shapes, folks. Find a shape you like. And oh, by the way, the one that looks good might not feel good, just FYI. If you're a young person listening, look and feel very, very different things.
That's too funny.
Right.
You're right.
And then open the book up to ask those questions. And literally, kids got curious, and I learned stuff from kids that I didn't even know. I was like, what is that? Urban Dictionary.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. When
oh,
you hear a young
God.
person say something to go,
Yeah.
oh no, I'm out of the loop. I don't even know what that is.
Yep. Give me a minute.
That's a thing. So to swing back a little bit, I've been trying to not do this too much today, but I know the way that people my age bracket think, because I sometimes think that way too and have to fight the urge to just be narrowly focused. My question about the not asking your spouse about the things that you really want. If a person, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, came in, if they were unwilling to mention this thing that they were interested in doing to their spouse in the privacy of their own room, what makes you think they're going to do it in front of one other stranger, essentially? You get to know each other after a long time of doing counseling sessions. Wouldn't they be less likely to talk in front of another person if they can't say it just with their spouse? Or is there mechanisms you use to help them feel comfortable?
No, I don't have any special powers. I do have positive energy, and I feel like I set the tone that this is your opportunity to talk and work through whatever it is that you need to. If you don't, you're going to take it, like I talked about that bag of rocks, and you're going to carry it around with you, and you're going to bring it into your next relationship. So this is, let go of that relationship. What do you want in this one? Not that that one was bad, but that one's not honest. What is an honest, open relationship look, sound, and feel like for you?
I just picture people in rough long-term marriages trying to go in front of their therapist saying, yeah, I want to do this crazy sexual thing, but I don't think she's going to dig it, or vice versa.
Well, I can't imagine it's going to be right out the door. It's going to be second, third,
Well, that's
fourth,
not- yeah,
fifth
that's not-
visit.
that's-
It
visit
could,
one,
but
yeah.
I also give them questions to go home and think about, to reflect on. Whoever it is that called me and said, I want to, meet with you and with my partner, I send them a list of things to talk about. I read through it. I bring those things up in front of both of them, right? I mean, why are you going if you don't really want to do the work? And a lot of people, you're right, a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that, but it doesn't do any good, because that's the thing that is you're going to carry into your next relationship, right? And to have the courage, my goodness, if people had courage to really look at themselves in the mirror, completely naked, and go, what would make me happy? And you can say, I don't know, but I want to find out. And how do you do that? You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with the person that you want to do it with, right? My kids are probably going to all freak out when they hear me say this, but they know me. And some of them laugh at my woo-woo, but my children look at me and go, you're the most honest and open person I've ever met. Sometimes it scares me, but that's how I have to live my life, because I lived it very differently before I was divorced.
Sure.
Yep.
I,
Both are like, whoa.
I
Yep.
think it sums it
that's-
up pretty well.
Yeah. And that's exactly how it is. I did one thing I wanted to touch on is you being in the therapy space. What fears do you have that people can kind of wrap their heads around when it comes to everything going on with the AI crap out there and how people are wanting to treat ChatGPT or Krog or whatever as a therapist? or on the other side, having it do horrible things and give validation for horrible things. What's your take on that when it comes to the AI in your space?
I think it's like anything else, use it in moderation, right?
Yeah.
And if it starts making your head spiral and you can't shut it off, you got way too much information. It's like the person that has like something that hurts and they go on WebMD and they Google everything. Now all of a sudden they have everything that's on there, right? We have to be careful with that information. I have clients that walk in and will have a list of things that they've diagnosed themselves with, a list of medications that I'm like, why are you on all this stuff again? It happens. But again, you have to just bring it back to yourself and go, okay, where's my balance? And if it's making me feel overwhelmed, it's too much information, I got to go and talk with a professional. Like Grok, chat. All they're doing is going in the cycle and telling it is what you want to hear. They can pull out some really good points. I use chat sometimes, but it's not a real person that's going to challenge you to think differently. That's going to throw something back and say,
It's very much an echo chamber, right?
It is completely, yeah.
Well, and I worry it falls into what they were calling the WebMD paradox, but I think it's going to fall into AI as well. Of you type into WebMD, every single place I touch on my body hurts, and you get a list of 10,000 things that is probably wrong with you, and then you go see a professional and you go, yeah, you broke your finger.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. It can't
every time
know.
Every time you type into WebMD, you come up with some kind of cancer. Like,
well, and we all have it in us, right? And we all have all these ailments in us, and we have to take care of our bodies. So, number one thing is your health, and it all ties in with our brain and our body. So, some of the work that I do is that mind-body connection. Like right now, gentlemen, where do you feel tightness or pain or an ache or something in your body?
I got a headache, kind of.
Okay.
Pulled my groin a little shoveling this morning.
Okay. Now
that might not have been as literal as you meant, but
okay.
It's right in the top of my head.
So you said what it was, where it is, right? You said what it was, where it was, and then you came up with an excuse or a reason why it was. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, it could be more of where you store your energy, and maybe, Jason, you just need to have a few more releases or eat healthier.
I definitely need to eat healthier. That's been a decade now.
God,
I can't argue that. When you say releases, you mean getting lucky? I will honestly say I hear construction workers and people talk and friends and family all the time. In the construction field especially, if someone's going to complain, they're going to complain. I know where I'm at as far as that goes. I'm in the 95 percentile. I'm fine. I'm happy that my wife and I still want each other that way and we have a healthy relationship. No complaints. I'm glad about where we are.
Okay. So then the other option is what? What was the other thing I threw up?
Eat healthier.
I'm sorry, I don't remember. I apologize.
Eat healthier.
Eat healthier.
Eat healthier. Oh, it did make a joke, but yes.
Right. So you're going to come talk to me. We're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to push back. And I'm like, okay, for the next week, I want you to eat healthier. What does that look like? How are you going to plan your meals differently? You're going, okay, you're my therapist. Why are you telling me that? Well, because our body gives us information that we're not listening to. Now, all of a sudden, you have to slow down your life. You have to pay attention to what you're eating. You take care of your health. It takes care of your mental health. Your brain is telling you something too right now. You're working too much. You didn't have enough water, right? There's something on your mind that you need to get off your mind that you haven't been brave enough to talk about. Like, that's when we have to stop it. Any pain we have in our body, we have to break down and think about how me, takes care of it.
Right.
Jason, you look so perplexed over there.
It's not perplexed. I'm trying to... Again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate in a nice way without making you feel like it's argumentative. My simplistic brain answer would have been, or I slipped on the ice and pulled a muscle.
Yes.
It's also sometimes not the whole thing. But would I have done that if I ate better and was more hydrated? Maybe not. I understand where you're coming from.
No, it does go back to that.
My brain analyzes things from hopefully all the angles I actively try to do.
Yes. Yes. And that's exactly it. Sleep and balance. But I would call those excuses, which is a defense mechanism, which is going to prevent you to really dig deep and take care of yourself.
Well, let's say theoretically I was aware of a much bigger problem that actively works against the sort of thing you're talking about. I'm not saying this is the case, but what if you came from a family who was generally healthy long into their lives with very little medical care? You've been fortunate in your relationships and professional career through effort and hard work, and you're not concerned about things going wrong. How do you deal with someone who has a small bit of beneficial narcissism? Not narcissism. What if you think you're lucky and you just kind of live your life that way?
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't be going to see her in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But what if they needed to talk to someone because, although accurate in their head, that's not the healthiest way to live?
They probably wouldn't know it at that point.
And I love this. I
Probably
love this question because it does come up. I'll have a client that will come in and say exactly what you're saying, and obviously they're talking about their spouse or they're talking about a parent or a friend, right? A friend. Anyhow, I will say there's plenty of podcasts out there that the two of you can listen together and have an open conversation. And just like how you're pushing back on me, ask those questions, dig a little deeper, make them feel uncomfortable. Because I'm telling you, therapy can feel very uncomfortable for some people, but that's only because they don't want to admit to themselves things. They don't want to feel judged. They want to know it all. I don't know it all. I can sit here and talk all tired out of my ass all day long, but I have life experience. Right? And
there's no arguing with any of that.
Right.
I should point out for the next time we have Amber on, because I can already tell this is going to be fun. If she had a good time today, which I hope you did, we'll have you back. I was actually not talking about a third-party person. I was talking about whether it's unhealthy for me to not worry about all that stuff, because I think it's all going to be fine.
well, that's the optimism in you. I'm that way too. I see the glass definitely half full.
But what happens when it's to the detriment of not caring about one's own personal health?
Okay, well, I'm going to have to put you on the clock.
Yeah, you think that's for next time. That's for next time.
Fucking TikTok, some bitch.
Just
No,
saying,
I'm
it's-
just saying that I
The
definitely
hour starts now.
We can
Yeah.
dig into that, and I think that's a really good interflection for yourself to think about and maybe dig a little deeper. I could give you some prompts to do, journal I
mentioned at
reflective.
the end because I
Mhm.
know for a fact there are a lot of other people out there like me who not a lot of terrible things have happened to, and moving forward and working hard and trying to be positive have served you well so far. And why dig in? Because life is pretty rosy.
So I'm on that same kind of ticket with you. Like, I've had my neck surgery and my hand surgery, but I don't consider myself bad luck. I consider myself experienced needing those surgeries, right? I've done shit. But generally, I'm as healthy as a horse. I always have been. I'm good. Like, nothing bad has happened. But at the same time, I have sat there in the dark and went, when is that clock going to stop ticking? Like, when is that luck going to run out? Fuck.
So here's what I'll leave.
The dark thought.
So that's a great way to sum it up. Here's what I'll leave Amber with, and maybe when the next time we get together, we can dig down this sort of road. What happens if you feel that way and don't have that worry when you really should? And consciously, that's not a healthy way to be.
That's not okay.
Yeah, when you think everything is going to work
for
out
sure.
and it doesn't, but it doesn't bother you, there's something there that needs to be figured out.
Yeah, I really want you to come back on, Amber. We need to dive deeper into some shit.
Yeah, I'm real
Right.
messed up, right? Like, if I let the dark thoughts out, yeah, I'm real messed up, yeah. I hold it together for family and friends and work, but deep down, John's seeing the other side.
Oh.
I got some real weird ideas. I'm pretty
Yeah.
messed up sometimes.
I think it would be really funny to have your listeners also dig a little deep and throw out a question. And
Yes.
Love it.
And we're going to actually, that leads us right into what John and I were going to get to here in a second. So it's perfect. Before that, though, if you were to give some final thoughts about people who might benefit from any form of talk therapy, online, in person, not ChatGPT, take your time. What would you tell people who are on the fence? Because that's the people we want to swing, not people who are already doing it. We want people leaning. how would you nudge people, male, female, couples, whatever, into a way to give it a try? What would be your suggestion?
That's a really good question. I think first and foremost, anything you're going to invest in, because you're investing in yourself when you decide to do that, you really have to go into it with intention. And this is the number one thing I want to tell people: don't judge yourself. We are imperfect people, and we spin that cycle all day long. And we all can learn something about ourselves new every single day. And you got to want to do that work. And finding the right person to listen to your story. I love hearing stories. I think that's why I do what I do. I love hearing people's stories. I don't judge them, but then I will have them be reflective on that story and have them pull out the good things, be optimistic and hopeful, and move in a direction that continues to help them grow and be better people.
Wonderful.
Holy shit. Fantastic.
We sure hope you'd be interested in coming back another time. This has been...
It's been great.
Just out of curiosity, okay, how long do you feel that we've been talking today?
I feel like we went over the time that...
What do you think?
I'm going to say an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Which one? Distinctly different.
2 hours.
It's darn close to that. It's officially our longest episode.
Yep.
And it flew by
just like that.
Well, just like the conversations the two of you had with the people that you were connected to. It just flows, right?
Yep.
And you're talking from your heart and you're asking really good questions, and people need to do that. Ask real good questions.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah, so I'm glad we could do something different today. I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you are interested in asking some questions we can push them on to Amber. We can have her back on again. Just like she said, please send those to us, either on the website at isawpodcast.com. You can send it to John or I individually, or to hosts at isawpodcast.com. If you want to sponsor a future episode and help this little growing podcast, please check out our Buy Us a Beer tab on our website. You can buy us one beer, you can buy us multiple beers. We're doing this for fun, so any little bit you want to do to help us out, we really appreciate it. Please tell a friend this week. If you heard anything interesting, made you laugh, made you smile, made you think, just share it with one other person, let them know. Maybe they catch some benefit out of this, and maybe something from all the other past episodes we've had. If you want to leave us a voicemail or a text message, comment, question, concern, funny story, feedback from any of our episodes, that's at 507-607-4729. That's 507-607-ISAW. That's how an adult would say it. And if you would like to be a guest, the Be a Guest tab is also on our website, just like Amber Marie helped us out with here today. That's an easy process, yes. Fill out a short form.
Very much so.
Quick interview.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, Amber's not in the blue-collar field, but can provide some benefit and have some great conversations and a good story. So don't think just because you're not in the field doesn't mean you would not be a great guest. Or if you know someone you think would be a great guest, suggest them. Perhaps they're interested.
Yep.
Am I forgetting anything, buddy?
Not really. Amber, I just want to take the quick minute and say thank you again for hanging out with us and putting up with our craziness and whatnot. If it's okay with you, you can tell us yes or no when we're done, to put your contact info if somebody wants to get in touch with you directly. If they're like, yeah, no, I'm skipping you guys, I'm going straight to the source. We would love that for our listeners too.
I'm starting beginning of the year. I'm revamping. I'll have everything up. I have my first new little website, and I have all kinds of projects that I want to do in 2026. So I appreciate the connection. I really do.
Well, keep us in the loop, and anything we can do to help you promote or succeed or reach a new audience, we're always here for.
Absolutely. And that goes right back to you guys, because I'm a mover, a shaker. I network very well. Cool. But I have one question for both of you.
Sure.
What was my tick?
Well, so here's the deal. You have that. You still have that string in your hand, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You kept your tick to the string.
You, I believe, intentionally kept it out of our visual field. We could
I saw
you.
I saw you playing with it.
Yeah.
You realize at points I was ready to tie you both up.
Yeah, for sure.
Strap you up.
That was that was an emotional support rope that you had there.
No, it's actually a prop that I want to talk about sometime.
Absolutely.
Well, then you want to talk about props, you want to get into sort of things, I'm going to put you on the spot. You'll have to come back then.
Yep.
I will.
You have to.
Absolutely.
Well, until next time, everybody, we really appreciate you bearing with us today. We know it was a long one, but hey, new records have to be set all the time, and here's our longest episode.
Absolutely, man. I've enjoyed it.
So have I. Thank you again, Amber. We appreciate you. And I know we're into the new year, everybody, so have a happy and safe new year. And remember, until next week, be safe and that your work keeps the world working.